Creating an embroidery font from a TrueType font is simple to do inside of Floriani Lettering Master. In this video, I'm going to walk you through those steps. To get started, we're going to need to get into the font creation page, and to do that, you'll click on this icon right here. This says create a new font. It's a red box with the letter T on the inside of it. You can also access this through the file menu, going to file and new font. But I'm going to click this icon, and you'll notice right away that your screen changes. You're in a whole different work environment, and this is where you will create embroidery fonts. So just to walk you through a few things, you have create a new font, create a new document, open a font, save a font. This is the one that we're going to focus on in this video, and this is add characters from a TrueType font. And I'm going to go ahead and click this icon. When I do that, it brings up this welcome screen, and this is where a wizard that you'll run through in creating this font. So when I hit next, I'm taken to the select TrueType font. This is where I'm going to select the TrueType font on my system that I want to convert into embroidery. The thing I want to point out here is this is a TrueType font that exists in your computer at this moment. Okay, so whenever you're in Microsoft Word and you're typing up a document, you have access to a number of fonts that you can select. Those are all TrueType fonts. So whatever fonts are available on your system that are installed on your system, and every computer comes with fonts loaded in them, any of those fonts are going to be available from this drop down. You have the ability to purchase TrueType fonts online, and you can just do a search for fonts, and you can just type in TrueType fonts. There's a number of websites that offer these, and a lot of TrueType fonts you can get at no cost. So a lot of companies will let you download a number of their fonts for free. So this is the box that I will select, and that I can scroll through all the fonts on my computer, and my font list will be different than yours because I've downloaded and installed a number of fonts, and computers just come with different fonts. So if I have this selected with this drop down, I can click one more time on that title, and now I can use arrow keys on my keyboard and just click the down arrow, and I can scroll through. And the nice thing is you can see a sample of that font right here. Also, you have this sample text box. I can come in here, I can say, you know what, I really want to embroider the word Floriani. So I can come in, and I'll click this again, click it one more time to contract it, and then I will just scroll through, and I can actually see the word Floriani and what it would look like. So I'm just going to work with a basic font here just to show you how this works. We'll just do this Arial right here. So once you select the font that you want, you click the next button. And this is an important part of creating your embroidery font, is selecting the characters you want to use. I highly recommend that you don't just select all, and the reason is if I scroll through this, you'll see that we get to the point where you have a lot of characters that are characters that you would never use. These are in different languages, a lot of fonts. Not every font has this many characters, but this particular one does. So what I recommend doing is selecting the letters and characters that you would want to use. So I would start here, and I'd want all of these. I'd want the numbers. I would want these icons, or these characters as well. And I definitely want the A through Z. I'll get those brackets too, and the A through Z in lowercase. So up to about right here. So I had that first one selected. If I hold down Shift and click again, it will select everything in between. So let me show you that one more time. I'm going to come up and select the first one that I want, and I'm going to scroll down to the last one I want and hold down Shift. Now if there was a character that I didn't want, I could just hold down the Control key and click it, and it would remove it. Or if there was another one I wanted to add, I could select it by holding down the control key. So you do have the option of selecting multiples at one time and then also adding individual ones. So once I have the fonts or the characters that I want, I'm ready to go to the next step. I'm going to click next here. When I click next, it's going to take me to the last screen that just has the options available for creating font. So you have create embroidery segment, which is very important. You need to do this because this is actually going to convert that font into embroidery pieces. Include artwork. This is the artwork of the actual letter, which I just recommend you having each one of these selected. And I'll show you what each are. The create extents box is you'll see what that is when I click on finish. So when I click finish, the software is going to go through and it's going to digitize each of these letters, and once it's done, it's going to load those each letter on the screen, and I can do more with it at that point. So it's just now finishing, and now the fonts are loaded onto my system into this work page. And so these are all the characters that we chose to select, and it's converted these into embroidery. So I can go to any letter, like this letter C, and if I wanted to see what it looks like, just that letter, I can right click on it. And when I right click on a letter, I have the options to edit the character, delete it, change the key, set a reference character. So you have a number of things you can do. If I want to see what this letter looks like, I will click on edit character. When I click on that, it's going to open up a new page where it's going to show me that font. And here's the font, and I'm going to put it in 3D view here so you can see what it created. And over here in my sequence view, in this bottom right hand section, you're going to see 3 items. This one is your outline. This is a piece of artwork. This is the structure that was used to create the embroidery. And so it's included that. You have the embroidery segment, and then this is the extents box, and that's just a box around the letter. It is an artwork as well, so it will not embroider out. It's just simply a piece of artwork that shows you the parameters of the embroidery font, or the perimeter of it. So you can select the embroidery segment, and you do have the ability to edit it by clicking on this shape tool. So first, you select it using this select tool. You can just click on the embroidery segment, or you can come over here and you can click on it from the sequence view. But once you have it selected, this edit shape is the tool that you use to edit it. And so when I click on that, you'll notice, I'm going to click off 3D, you'll notice that I have these inclination lines. This is helping the software basically know the direction to put the stitches in. You have the points, which we call nodes, and then you have start points and end point. And these are the basic functions of working with embroidery structures, and you can edit these. If I click on one of these nodes or the point, you'll notice that I have these we call handlebars that I can select and I can move around to change the shape. Let me go ahead and undo that. And I can change the direction of the stitches. So I can come in here and I can change that direction and the placement of it. You can change where it stops and ends by just dragging the start point and the end point. Once you have the character where you want it, you simply click on the close button, and it will ask you if you want to save the changes. You select yes, and it will bring you back to the font page. So you have the ability to go through each and every one of these characters, take a look at them, see if you want to modify any of them, and once you're ready to save it, all you have to do is click on this Save Font button. So I'm going to click Save Font, and it's going to bring up where my fonts are, where I can save the font to. I've selected a different area, so I'm going to come into where my fonts are. So I'm going to come in here, just a second here, Program Data, and I'm going to find my Lettering Master and my fonts page. Yours will come right up to it. I had to go through and select it because I was working from a different area before this. So now I can name it. So when I name this file, I can name it whatever I want. I'm just going to do a 0011, and then I'm going to hit Save. And it just saved this font in as a keyboard font. And to preview this, I can click this icon right here that can create a new document. So I'm going to create a new document, and now this font is ready to use. So I'm going to grab my text tool, and this is how I can add lettering to a design page. So you could load a design in here and then add lettering by clicking this. So I'm clicking the icon, and then I'm clicking on the screen, and it's going to come up and say my text, and I can change that over here to, let's say, Floriani. And there's a video showing how to work with the text tool. So if you're not familiar with that, please watch that video. So once I change the name, now I can come in and I can choose the font by clicking on the font selection arrow. And I'm going to scroll up because the font that I created, I put the zeros in, so it shows up at the very top of the list. So we have 0011 is the one that I created, and I selected that. I hit apply, and you can see now that that font has been created, and I'm able to use it as keyboard lettering. So creating fonts is not a very difficult thing to do in this software. You just run through the wizard. The main thing that you might want to do is you might want to look at the different segments and go to the edit feature, so you can take a look at that letter to see if there's anything about it that you want to change. You have the ability to do that, and then save it. So that goes through creating an embroidery font from TrueType fonts. Please make sure you play around with this feature. It's very easy to use, and I hope that you enjoy creating your own fonts utilizing Floriani Lettering Master.